Hi, this is Richard with Stupid Proof Survival. I'm heading down 151 East between Caddis and Jewett, taking you on a little field trip today. I'm going to be working on my fire pit. Not really happy with it, thinking I can make it a little more efficient. And I want to teach you a little bit about my burrito bed. How to survive when all you have is a tarp and your limited camping essentials, or maybe just a tarp. Now this is going to be, a lot of people show how to survive using a tent, or how to survive if you have a hammock, camping like that. So maybe this is more of a camping video. I'll let you decide, call it what you will. But I want to show you how to get by with just a tarp if need be, how to keep the wind off. And this is an environment because my property only has one tree on it. So hammock camping is not going to work. Throwing up a tarp and making a tent with a tarp, yeah, that ain't going to work. This is more like what you'd have to do if you were trapped out in a grassy field, which is what my property basically is. So we'll call this the Plains Indian Survival Day. Okay, stick with me. Okay, it's very windy today. It's about 29 degrees down here, and high wind, I'd say 15-20 miles per hour. So as you can see, I took my sled that I pull things on when I'm down here, used my little shovel, propped it up. Now I got a windbreak going so my fire doesn't get too out of control. Keeping it contained. I moved some blocks around, got a little better protection from the wind for the fire. As you can see, the fire is going really good right now. Get you a good beat in on the fire here. There you go. Yeah, looking nice. But yeah, a little windbreak, that helps the fire. And when I set up the burrito bed, that same windbreak can be used to keep the wind off me when I'm laying on the ground. Okay, as you can see, the first part of my burrito bed starts with a space blanket type ground cloth. Okay, this is waterproof. It's orange on one side, it's silver on the other. I put the silver side up. Just a second, I'm going to go get the next piece. Now you'll notice, because it's so windy, I'm having to pin everything down with bundles of firewood. So the next layer in that burrito bed is my ground cover, my ground cloth. It's one of those Coleman roll-up types. Works pretty good, used it in the past. And you'll notice that I have it close to me because, as burrito implies, we're going to be rolling this up. And that is why you have to have the wind to your back, because the closest side that you see here would be facing the fire, and then the wind would be to the back so that the fire doesn't blow sparks onto the burrito roll. Okay, going on to step 3. And step 3 is my 0 degree Fahrenheit Slumberjack mummy bag. So I've got a ground tarp to keep the wet out. I've got the Coleman sleeping pad to keep the heat in. I got my 0 degree Slumberjack to keep my heat in. Now I also have an SOL bivvy that has the reflective side to keep the heat contained, that I can slip inside the Slumberjack. Then all I need to do is grab the end of my tarp and pin it down, which is easier said than done when you're holding the camera. There we go. Okay, old man getting up. Okay, I got the bottom pin back. I come up and I'm going to pin the top. Okay, there we go. And again, if the wind is at the back, it's not going to be blowing up through that crease as much. I'm not saying this is perfect. In fact, what I would also do is take another one of these tarps. Always good to have a couple tarps. I would put it on the bottom in about the middle of my back. Then I would flip it over top and tuck it under to, again, the middle of my back to make it a much more secure and so the wind doesn't blow. Now, it helps if you're shorter because you could pin the foot end completely down so that there's no wind blowing up from the bottom. If you're smart and this is long enough, if you're going to sleep curled up in a ball, I would roll the end up and then pin it down so that if the snow started coming, it warmed up and it turned to rain, you wouldn't have these gaps in here for rain to run into and get your bag wet. Nobody wants to try to sleep with a wet bag of any type. You do want to keep the head a little bit open because you want fresh breathing room. You don't want to choke on your own carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, whichever one you call it. So, that is the burrito bed. It's nothing fancy. I don't even claim that it's anything new, but it is something that works. If you don't have the bag and you don't have the under padding, the Coleman under padding, you just roll up in the tarp. The tarp will at least keep the rain, the snow, and the wind off you. It won't do much for heat, but when you're stuck, it's better to be less exposed or at the least exposed as possible. Okay, while I'm in the Beamer and out of the wind, I thought I'd show you folks what I'm packing in my little field line over the shoulder pack. This is what I bring down with me. First of all, a folding knife. Yeah, that's a fancy one. I think that costs like $7 or $9 at Walmart. I've been using it for months. Never had a problem with it. I have used it for splintering the wood, whittling, and splitting the wood. Putting it against the wood and then pounding it with another piece of wood, and it's still in fine repair. $7 to $9. Yeah, you heard it here first. Then I carry, of course, the traditional space blanket. That would be the other sheet that I would put underneath me and wrap over top me for the burrito bed. $1.99 at Walmart. Probably the most expensive thing I have in my little pack here is my life straw. No water, no life, folks. This was, I think, $17.99 at Walmart. Supposed to be able to do, what, 500 to 1,000 gallons of water. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to be out anywhere that long. If so, just pickle me dead. Probably, okay, nope, this was the most expensive thing. I always carry wet fire. I think that's maybe $5 at Walmart. You get 5 of them, starts a fire immediately. But this is a pipe lighter. Yeah, I like that. I keep that baby gassed up all the time. And I think that might have cost me about $25. But for all the use I've gotten out of this, yeah, it was worth every penny. Next thing in the magic bag is my silky saw. Okay, a little silky saw. Works very nice. Used it, as you see now, I'll be honest with you, most of the wood I bring down here is purchased. I purchased at Drug Mart for $5 a bundle. Reason being, like I said, I don't have any trees on my property. So I'd have to, in a dire situation, be snitching wood from somewhere else, which if I have to, I would do. Okay, got this little knife. That's just a backup. Got the ferro steel so that you can go primitive if you want to. I never want to. Hope I never have to depend on it. Yes, it's supposedly more reliable. And yes, it is a pain in the ass. Finally, I keep a headlamp. Got that at Home Depot. And nylon paracord. 550 paracord, 50 feet. Okay, I think I picked that up at, I don't know, maybe a surplus place, Walmart, I don't know. I've had this forever. So, you can see, I am rocking the 5 C's. The 5 C's are cutting. Have something you can cut with. Something you can split with. Second is combustion. Have something you can start a fire with. Third thing, and I did not show that. I actually don't have it strapped here. I got it in the trunk, and that's my cup. I have a Black Rifle coffee, steel coffee cup. Really like it. Cover. Here's my cover. It is just a simple backpacking tarp. Keep that attached because I have other things in my trunk. Because if I'm going someplace, I'm going to have gotten there somehow. And since I live in the city, I'm probably going to have gotten there by my car or my wife's car. So I keep, a stash in the cars. Well, that's my gear. Not too fancy. Wasn't very expensive. Maybe $100 total for a good survival kit that doubles as just a nice plain old camping kit. In the summer, could live about forever. In the winter, well, you want to hope to be rescued in a couple days. Yeah, like a bad rash, he's back again. One thing I found at the bottom when I was putting everything away, my third method of starting fire, and that is with the waterproof matches. These things are wonderful. The lighter gets too cold and doesn't work, though I've never had that happen. The ferro steel is just not happening. The waterproof matches. I carry 3 ways to create combustion because fire is one of the things you definitely have to have in the winter. No matter how tough you are, you're going to freeze.